I'm going to be focusing on replays. It's going to be a lot more talkative of a stream, which may or may not make it shorter, but it's something that I kind of wanted to do, is to just focus on, this is wrong way, I wanted to focus on whatchamacallit, just like showcasing like how much micro optimizations goes into a run and distance, how many little things affect how fast you're actually going within a level. And I wanted to showcase this through a lot of different levels and ones that are kind of unconventional, while also talking about like, also look how long this is loading. Look at this main menu. Look how long this main menu takes to load. It's still, oh, there it goes. But yeah, I wanted to use a bunch of different replays to just show all the little things that go into distance, because this game's nuts. It's insane. I don't think many people really go into like just how many things go into one run. And if you have any suggestions for levels to really do this on, I can even like look at your own runs just to show like where you might have lost speed, where you might have gained speed, and whatnot. But first things first, I wanted to choose a workshop level to showcase this, right? I wanted to choose a workshop level, and I'm gonna choose one that's kind of unconventional, alright? Alright, so what if we take a lap track, the lap track from Kinix, that I can't remember the name of right now. So I'm gonna have to search through author, but I know it's a lap track and I know what it looks like. I'm gonna scroll over to Kinix. I was gonna scroll over to Kinix. Kinix, where you at, buddy? Buddy pal, Kinix. Okay, yeah. Oh, I wish you could search it. Like, you can't really search author. All right, not you. Yeah, not you. Probably wasn't any of these. I don't think it was any of his like map pack ones. Wasn't Green Mean. Don't worry, I'll turn the music back on. There it is. It was Relax. Let's take Relax. I'm not gonna take the skip route ones. I'm gonna take the lower ones. Or yeah, I'm pretty sure someone like found out a way to skip a lot of the triggers, right? Some of the lower ones. We're going to like the let's take this little set right here. This set of ghosts to give that a little look. It's gonna be epic. It's gonna be epic. I'm gonna turn the music back on. Alright. So we're gonna listen to this song again. I know it's already played, but we're listening to it again. Alright, I'm gonna get rid of this. Get rid of that. There you go. Also, need to slow this down a little bit. There we go. Wait. Did the music stop? Oh, there it goes. Alright. Not going to discuss the first jump, but I am going to discuss some of what's going on right here. Now you might notice, this is obvious in like most racing games, Predatory is going in on the inside right now, which means that Predatory is going to be able to cut a lot of time on his turn. This applies to basically every single racing game to ever exist. I don't know if there is a racing game that makes it more optimal to jump on the outside. Not jump on the outside, but go on the outside instead of the inside of a turn. And also, just a little note right here, you can actually save a lot of time on specifically transfers. I'll give this a quick little pause. So Predatory was coming in from the inside of this turn, went straight as possible, and went right into this jump. Is that the most optimal? Possibly, but with transfers, it's best to make the transfer as quickly as possible because your ground speed is faster than, well, your airspeed. And if you're trying to play on track in particular, if you make your transfer last too much time, it might end up being too slow. There's a few exceptions to this, but most of the time you want to make your transfer as quickly as possible to keep your forward momentum. So Predatory is going to grip onto it, and he's going to keep going. Everyone else here, Connected Link and Overlord, are jumping fairly close to this transfer. Latapi got pretty close to the road before jumping. See how quick that was? See how quick that transition was? I don't know how much time he'll gain from that. It's not a lot. You don't gain a lot of time from that, but I totally showed something. Hold on. Show trans again? Trans? Oh, the transition? Yeah, I'll go back to it. But I just realized something. Not audio. Controls. I'm using editor controls, and my editor controls have my music buttons on the camera buttons in replays. So let me go back to my keyboard default. Alright, we're gonna head back. I'm gonna skip that song, and I'm gonna skip that song. Where are they at? There they are. Alright. So look at Latapi in particular. He was really close to the road and got to that transfer pretty quick. I think Latapi jumped a little earlier than I thought he did. But the point is, if he jumped from, he or she actually, if he jumped from right there, from like right as the road was coming up and made that transfer as short as possible, it would have, yeah, he jumped a little too early. Can you show that full speed? Yeah, I will. He jumped a little too early to really utilize all of his ground speed to gain time. That's full speed, right? No, it's not. Now it is. Boom. It's pretty quick. It's hard to notice this kind of stuff, but if he was closer, he could have gained a little bit more time. So on a transfer like this, I'm pretty sure Predatory would probably do something like this, but this transfer is just long enough to utilize a little bit of grip fly to get that little bit of extra momentum to the next transfer. This is a really quick sort of motion, and you can easily mess yourself up if you put yourself at the wrong angle. I'm gonna see if Predatory does it actually. Alright, Predatory doesn't actually do it there. He doesn't grip fly for a split second to use the downward momentum, but if he did, he would actually gain a little bit of time just on that one transfer. Although I want to note that Predatory did do that transfer kind of as smoothly as possible. I'm gonna back up a little bit. Wait for him to come up. So he got pretty close to the end of this transfer before jumping. He noticed how much space he had. Probably he probably wasn't like thinking about all of this while doing it, but he got pretty close to the end of the transfer before really jumping, because again, that gives you as much ground momentum as possible. And you can see Link jumped way earlier than Overlord did. He's probably going to lose a little bit of speed there. Also, Robot X1, thanks for that follow. But yeah, he's probably going to lose like a tiny, like minuscule bit of time from this jump. Bifro seems to jump really late as well. So he's going to keep a bit more ground momentum. And another thing to note that Predatory did, I didn't really focus on it, but you can tell because he's gripping right now. If you want to land on the transfer as quickly as possible, you can use grip, because that will get you to land on the road as quickly as possible. fairly simple, but it's a lot of things that people might miss. That if you want to get on that road as soon as possible, sometimes it's good to just grip towards it if you can. But don't hold the grip for too long after landing on it, because if you're holding grip while driving on the ground, you move a little bit slower. You're not going to lose a lot of time for this, but of course. Alright, so Overlord and Link are like super close together right now. Link is going to go on the inside of this turn. So when you're upside down, things can be a little weird, and the line that you take might not seem obvious it's usually best to go straight. Sometimes you can make a few optimizations. Like on a turn like this, if you were on this side, you'd be cutting probably a tiny amount of time. But you might not want to do that on a turn like this. Just considering that, well, considering this jump that you need to go to, if you're on the far side over here, on the left side, you would take longer to jump to the next transfer. And also, just quick thing to note, again, we're going to speed up to it. So this is a pretty big thing with transferring in general. This seems obvious, but some players, again, they don't do this. So Predatory started, like, he started rotating. He's beginning to rotate very early. He could have held it even before he jumped, which won't really make you lose that much speed because you're not using all of your grip. But he started doing it as soon as you jumped, which makes you do the transfers a lot faster. Then he starts angling his nose up a little bit, and then he starts to grip, which this is similar to how like wheelie boosts work, and wheelie boosts are lame, so we're not really going to go into that. But when doing transfers, you can still implement the sort of exploit that wheelie boost does, where if you angle up your nose a little bit and grip, that actually gives you a lot of momentum. Well, comparatively to normal momentum. His angle up slightly and he lands on this road. That landing was actually completely okay to like land a little bit off center like that. You don't have to move smoothly every single time to not lose speed in this game. So that's not something too much to worry about. I'm gonna wait for the other guys to come up here because I know Predatory is usually in front. You can see Overlord has unfortunately messed up and has lost an incredible amount of time. It's pretty obvious to see how. Alright, so it looks like from just the angle right here, Bifro might make it to the transfer a little bit late and lose some time against connected Link. He's not angled in a way that makes him go to the transfer as soon as possible. Also, Link seems to be angled his nose a little bit downward, which was it's gonna cut on his airspeed a little bit, but not too much. It's not really that big of a loss, but if somebody was like neck and neck with him, he would lose like 0.01 seconds of time. So he's gonna land first, Bifro gonna land second. He's moving up a little bit, which is gonna make him lose time since this is technically a turn. And yeah, you can see that he's slightly more behind than he was. The top piece more on the inside right now, which is completely nothing for the most part, because this is kind of a straight road. It is a turn, but it's mostly a straight road. And what about here? Can you make any optimizations here? Of course you can. So notice how Predatory, you got to the right to the end of that road and then jumped. Again, that's keeping all of your ground momentum. That's good. Keeping all of your ground momentum is good. Link jumped a little early and is rotating. He's gonna lose time for rotating. In a jump like this, you probably don't want to do a barrel roll, because doing a barrel roll makes you lose a little bit of speed. It puts you in the air for a bit of longer time. And you don't really want that. You can do what Predatory is doing right now. Predatory did the jump and is now put the nose up a little bit and is trying to land as quickly as possible on the road to keep the air momentum and the ground momentum from the jump. So he landed. Could Predatory have landed a little bit sooner to keep more speed? Yes. Is that really specific? Also yes. Link is group flying here, which is unnecessary, but he probably didn't judge the jump correctly and has put himself in that situation. Grip flying is a good way to recover a little bit of lost speed, since if you angle your nose down a little bit while upside down, you can use both the force of your boost right here and also your thrusters to give you that extra speed in the air, which is kind of how grip flying faster works. And Bifro's taking a pretty high jump and is not gripping yet. Is he gripping? Yeah, he is. I just wasn't zoomed in enough. So everyone else is taking pretty long jumps. Overlord here is doing a barrel roll and it's going to make him lose a little bit of speed, but hey, he's going to land it, so that's good. Next jump here. This is kind of the same as the jump that just happened, but this one's just a little angled. The only difference that you would probably make is to just like what Predatory is doing right now, very slightly turn and still angle up your nose a little bit to get that thruster plus boost momentum. and lands right on there. Predatory angled the nose down a little bit, so that jump wasn't too great. Link has lost speed from the roll before. Has Beefro catched up? Not much. Probably because Link did a little bit of grip fly, so to make sure it didn't lose speed in the air. I wasn't watching Link, but that's what I'm assuming, judging on where Beefro is right now. Alright, a jump like this is very similar to the one I already discussed over there. It's very, very similar. So instead of talking about it again, we're just going to see how it plays out from Latapi's point of view. So Latapi was angled up a little bit right there, which is completely fine for a jump like this, but it would have been better if, whoops, I skipped ahead. It would have been better if Latapi actually angled the nose downward a little bit, because again, grip flying quickly means that you have to angle your nose down slightly while also holding grip and boost at the same time, which would give him more air momentum. If Latapi, is he gripping right now? Alright, he's not really gripping right now, but one of his thrusters will be pushing slightly away from his direction. Like his, I can't really show this with the mouse right now, but his thruster is pointing towards this road, but also slightly away in that direction, which is not his forward momentum. That's the opposite of his forward momentum. Is he losing a lot of speed for this? No. But it's just minor optimizations. So lands on it just fine. Seems Predatory is doing good. Link, alright. Link did a pretty good jump. At least it seemed like it was a pretty good jump. I might flip over to him, go backward a little bit. Alright, it wasn't the best jump ever for a transfer, for an optimized transfer, but I just want to point out something that he did to help himself get a little bit more speed. He started angling a little bit downward before he rolled towards the road to land on it. This, again, saves like a very tiny amount of time, but it is an amount of time. Alright, so that's Predatory. Alright, so this is going to be a grip fly section. I know it says wings right there, but this is going to be a grip fly section if you're trying to be really, really, really fast in this game. So an important thing about rolling to a grip fly is that you don't want to spend any of your grip, like you don't want to really be pressing grip until you are in a good position upside down. This saves as much as your blue flames for grip. Because the most powerful your grip is at your most powerful. Wow, my sentences are bad right now. Your grip is at your most is at its strongest capacity. Words? Oh my god. The blue flames are the strongest grip, and it slowly goes away as you're using grip. So you have to utilize that blue grip as much as possible. Using your thrusters, even without like pressing the grip button, is still gonna cost some of your blue flames. So Latapi kind of messed up a little and rotated and like over rotated, so he can't really use any of the extra speed from the. I'm gonna skip this song because it has words. Any of the blue flames, he can't really utilize any of it, so he's just gonna end his roll. I want to see how Predatory did that, because Predatory likely fully utilized the grip fly. Okay, Predatory actually did a much different approach. He didn't do a grip fly. He instead angled his nose upward to have his boost carry him along this jump instead of opening wings, because if you opened wings in this situation, it's going to make you go slower, which is why barely anybody does it in this time. I can only guess that Predatory did this because probably couldn't tell how far that jump was and didn't want to like possibly overshoot it with a grip fly. Or maybe thought that it was close enough to do this without losing much speed. So Predatory did actually lose a lot of speed here, but I do know what Predatory was going for. If you angle up your nose a little bit and like grip back down, it's kind of like what the wheelie boost thing is. But in a case like this, you spend almost no blue flames angling that nose up. That takes like barely an input to angle your nose up after a jump. So you have a lot of your blue flames saved. So if Predatory, I don't know if he'll do it, but Predatory could use the blue grip to gain a bunch of airspeed into the ground speed to like land a lot faster. So Predatory likely lost time on this jump, but I don't know how many how many of the other people here did on this jump. I'm gonna do it from Link's perspective because Link's pretty good as well. So yeah, Link is doing exactly what I was talking about with the grip fly. He rolled upside down, didn't really start pressing grip until he was fully upside down, and then very slightly angled his nose downward, and now he's using the grip's force and the boost's force to carry himself over, and then he lands back down. He probably gained like a slight amount of time on Predatory here. Again, it's not a lot of time because this is micro optimization stuff we're talking about. But like I honestly probably wouldn't be able to measure how much he really gained. You can barely even see it. You can barely see it. Yeah, there's probably like, I don't know, 0.01 seconds of time. I'm talking the tiniest amount of micro optimizations right now. And Predatory was pretty far ahead to begin with. So again, Predatory is on the inside. That's gaining more time rather than losing it. All right, just that was fucking beautiful. That was like fucking perfect, Predatory. So I'm gonna go back a little bit. All right, Predatory messed up on the end of that jump and also hit the wall right here. But I want to point out on this little transfer right here. So Predatory jumps from right here and is like pretty much right on top of the road, basically right on top of it. He might be running into it a little bit. Yeah, he does. His back wheel hits the road and pushes him upward. But if he jumped a little bit later, that would have been perfect. Like genuinely perfect. He would have landed on this road instantly and would have carried all of his ground momentum just forward. It would have just kept going, and everybody else would have lost time on him. But unfortunately, Predatory's back wheel has hit, and now he has to recover. So I'm going to talk about recovering real fast because recovering is epic. So the rotation that just happened to Predatory due to like hitting the road like that, a good way to recover off of that is to let some of that force happen. Don't immediately react to it. Try and let some of it happen. I think Predatory is doing that right now. Like it happened and lets that force happen. And once your car slows down a little bit with that rotation, and hopefully it wasn't so drastic that you lost seconds of time, you can roll over fairly quickly. So he bounced a little bit off of the road, and he's gripping up. He's gripping up right now to make sure that he has enough air to roll back over without like colliding with the road itself and causing even more of a mess. And oh my gosh, is he gonna hit the pillar? Is he gonna hit the pillar? I can see you trying to avoid it. Okay, yeah, you avoid it. Oh no, you don't. This is a tough recovery, but you're at a really good angle right now. So Predatory recovered himself at a really good angle with having his nose pointed up and using his grip and boost to push himself forward, because he's recovering any amount of air speed that he just lost from that tumble. But he hit the pillar, so that is gone. He's rotating around and everybody's passing him now. So that's unfortunate, but it was a good recovery. It's a good recovery. He didn't lose super amounts of time. So I've already discussed basically everything that happens here. So we're gonna watch how it plays out a little bit, right? I'm gonna start from beef row. We're gonna watch how this plays out. So alright, smooth transfers. So actually, another thing to note, I just realized. I'm gonna go back a little bit. Every single time you input a turn and distance, you actually lose a little bit of speed for that. If possible, if you can find a straight line to drive on while you're on the ground, you actually won't really lose much speed. And this is especially true for keyboard users, because if you're like me and you have a keyboard, I'm gonna go over to controls real fast. So digital input smoothing right here means that every single time you press an input, for keyboard, this is really important. Each input starts off at a 0. its value is 0, and then once you press it, it goes to 1. If your smoothing is all the way at the bottom, it's going to instantly go to 1, which means it's the equivalent of taking a control stick, and in a single frame, you push the control stick to as far as it can go in whatever direction you're pushing it in. In a single frame, this is humanly impossible. You cannot do this, but a keyboard can. But that's bad. That's bad for racing, and it's really bad for distance, which means you probably want some smoothing. I'm right here for reasons that I'm not really going to go into right now, but you want some smoothing because the more your car turns, or the more forcefully your car is turning, I guess if that's a good way to put it, that actually cuts into a lot of your speed, your forward momentum. And the reason why is because this bad boy right here, your booster, the main thing that propels you forward, the distance car is not just a car, it's a gosh dang jet. This thing is fast as fuck, and that boost propels you forward very quickly. So if your tires are trying to get you to turn, you might notice that you start skidding a little bit, and well, not really skidding, but the tire starts like making those tire marks, and it's doing that because you're losing speed. You're going against that forward force that is coming from the back of your car. And that force is very powerful, so if you don't go as straight as you can at times, you're going to lose a little bit of speed. And the reason why I'm mentioning all of this is because Link makes a lot of small adjustments here, and that actually makes him go slightly behind Beefro, like a very little bit. He might bring it back up because he's on the inside of the turn, but he loses a little bit of speed. Like, yeah, he's behind Beefro now. So you can lose a good amount of speed doing that. So yeah, Link's now behind Beefro. Let's see if Link passes him. So he jumps a lot earlier to get some grip flight going. That's going to make him lose a little bit of speed again. So yeah, that jump does not have enough space to really utilize grip fly on. It would be best to just keep your car like slightly angle up the nose a little bit and utilize that grip. Also, he opens wings for a little bit here. That's good for landing. So wings are really interesting with with micro optimizations. And so if you have this on, flight stabilization, your wings will always try to stabilize to the direction of gravity. And what that means is that, like, say if your car was like upside down and then you open wings, with flight stabilization on, your wings are going to automatically rotate without input. They're going to automatically rotate to the direction of gravity. So if gravity is pointed down, then the wings are going to take your car and put it right side up because it's trying to stay with gravity. This gets especially weird if a map is constantly changing gravity, but let's not go into that. But another thing that does for you is that it can smooth out your landings by a lot, because you might lose a little bit of speed when you land on the road, but if you open your wings right before landing on a road, this might put you in a really perfect angle because of how flight stabilization is, to basically lose no speed on landing. There's a lot more stuff to this that I don't really know, in all honesty, but that's basically how it works. I don't know if Link did a misinput here to open his wings, but I'm just going to mention it right here because it's not really applicable in this map in particular, but just thought I'd mention it because it's important. If you have this off, that won't happen. That you would have to do that wing landing thing based off of your own inputs, and it's very hard to play this game with flight stabilization off. So, and yeah, let's move on. So he's probably lost a lot of speed for that. Beefro is quite a bit ahead now. He's taking a long time on his transfer, just going to make him lose a little bit of speed, but he didn't take much time on that one. That was a really smooth transfer. He probably gained a little bit of speed there. I'm going to look at where Predatory is. So Predatory opts to rotate. Is that clockwise? Yeah, that's clockwise. So Predatory opts to rotate clockwise here, which is bad because that makes him take more time to do this transfer. But this gives me the opportunity to talk about another thing with distance. You see how, like, gosh dang crazy this game is? So, when you rotate the car in distance, you remember how I said that, like, those are your thrusters? You still use some of your blue thruster energy, even if you're not pressing grip? Well, those thrusters genuinely affect where your car is going. Even if you're not pressing grip, you could roll in a certain direction, and your car is being actually, like, its position is actually being affected by that one thruster. You don't rotate. You don't rotate in a perfect circle in this game. You rotate in a bit of a, like, weird orbiting sort of circle. You're not really orbiting, but it's just that your car is going to get pushed in a direction of that thruster ever so slightly, which is why rolling in this direction is really bad, because he's technically pushing himself away from the transfer and losing time on that. Which is why it, like, makes him take so long. He tries to fix it up a little bit by angling the nose up a little bit, possibly getting some grip in, but it doesn't look like he gets there on time. And now Predatory has recognized that this jump is a little bit too far to do the to just angle his nose up and use grip. So now he's flipping upside down and using grip. He doesn't angle his nose down to get more time, but this does make him lose basically no time. I'm gonna back up a little bit because gosh dang, Beefro here opened his wings and went to the outside, which obviously he lost time. But again, wings make you lose time, and Link is gonna pass, so there he goes. There Link goes. Now Link is ahead of the pack. He hit the side a little bit, but that's fine. Forward momentum is gonna correct that just as easily. He's making too many adjustments, probably losing speed for that. Beefro took a bit too much time on that jump, but he did at least angle his nose up a little bit to keep his momentum going. Link went a little too wide on that transfer. And Beefro is doing this transfer really well, actually. It might be hard to tell with the car literally punching through the camera right now, but he waited for a long time to get to the end of this road and is now doing the jump. He's going to transfer smoothly into it. And even though his car kind of like smacked the track a little bit, and you would think that makes him lose a lot of time, but again, it doesn't, because ground speed is very good, and he made that transfer be very short. So, like, no one's really going to pass him here. Latapi's getting close, though. Alright, so Beefro does a really good transfer there. And, oh, Predatory gaining a little bit of speed. Doing their transfer is a bit better. He goes on the inside just to gain that tiny ass amount of time. And you can now see that he is basically with Beefro right now. And also Predatory is opting to grip fly on this jump, but this jump is too short for that, so he's probably going to lose a little bit of time just to do a roll, and probably lost a little bit, like a tiny bit. To be fair, Beefro didn't use grip to land as quickly as possible, so they're probably still neck and neck. Alright, Predatory landed a little bit faster on that one, but went on the outside of this turn, so Beefro is keeping his lead. And Beefro went up on this transfer, which makes him take longer. Kind of looks like everyone behind him took a shorter amount of time. Also, notice how Predatory and Latapi here are on the lower side of this road. And also Link is on the lower side of this road. This might be a little bad based on how, like, this road is higher. They're going to have to use, Link especially, is going to have to use a little bit of upward momentum just to get to that road, which is going to make him lose time. But Latapi and Predatory are actually at a really good spot to do this transfer very smoothly. So yeah, let's just see where they end up after this jump. Fairly in the same spot. Link is, gosh dang, he's probably opting to go to the next road. He's probably skipping this road entirely. Latapi's more on the inside of this turn. Oh, no, Link messed up. He's using his wings. He's gonna lose time. And there he goes. He's behind now. Beefro back at the front. But Latapi here went on the inside of this turn, gained that tiny amount of time, and now he's ahead. It's the little things. He went low and then had to open his wings, so that's going to put him behind, but Link and Predatory here are both going to grip fly, which might put them a little bit closer. And yeah, they're ahead of Latapi. And that's the end, because this was a 3-lap track. So yeah, I just went over basically every little thing that made you lose and gain time on that. I'm gonna go backward a little bit, so we can see just how close it was. How close was it? It's hard to tell from that, actually. I'm gonna go back a bunch and then zoom out. Alright, so you're over there. So the lap ends about like right here. But again, there's so many tiny goddamn things you can do in this game just to go that tiny extra amount faster. And the more you do it, the more it accumulates. That's why somebody who's just racing the exact same as you somehow just start getting ahead. This only happens because of little tiny things like that. And like Predatory is good at the game, so even though he messed up earlier, like you saw how much time he lost. He's pretty close still. He didn't lose as much time as Overlord is. I know I haven't really focused on Overlord, but that's because he's behind and he's bad. I'm kidding. Overlord's pretty good. So yeah, look how close they got just from that one jump. Just from that one jump, they got so much closer. And the end zone's like right here. So Beefro's still gonna land first because he was the most ahead. You couldn't gain that much time on that jump, but it was enough to catch up to Link. Wait, no, it was enough to catch up to Latapi, who opened their wings. So it's incredibly hard to tell who won that one, in all honesty. It's really hard to tell who won that. So I'm gonna exit the replay just so we know. Just so we know the final tally. But yeah, Relax was a good level to use as an example. For all the stuff that you can do on track, and this is much different when you're doing skips. When you're doing skips, it's nuts. It's absolutely insane the amount of things you have to do with air control. I can't even go into the amount of things you have to do with wings to not lose time. It's bonkers. It's absolutely insane. So yeah, Connected Link and Predatory Balloon were both able to pass Latapi, and the only reason why Latapi lost to them is because Latapi opened their wings. At that one jump. That one jump cost them 16th place. They wouldn't have lost any time if they didn't open wings, if they just did the grip fly. But nope, you had to open wings, Latapi. What is wrong with you? Okay. But yeah, it's the tiny things. So let's go to a different kind of level, right? Let's go to one of the officials, because the officials have been done to death to do as much things as possible to get ahead. We're gonna use SR Motorplex for this one. Alright, here we go. I'm gonna go up to the top boys. I'm gonna look at Tie-Dye and Seeker because they're tied. But we're gonna see, like, you're gonna see like one of them be ahead of the other at certain sections, and it's gonna be really cool. It's gonna be really cool to watch. Because these are like some of the best players in the game. Tie-Dye doesn't play anymore, but like Tie-Dye was absolutely bonkers. Let's give that a look. Let's give that a look. Let's do it. I'm gonna go through all of my water. It's gonna be gone, dude. So at the start, if you press boost the moment it says 1, you actually go fast. I'm kidding, that's not a thing. That's not a thing in this game. Also, this song has words. I don't want words. It's gonna make it harder to understand me. Alright. So, that right there was a wing pump. Wing pumps are very, 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 very important if you're trying to be super ultra mega fast at this game. If you're trying to be like speedrun quality. So, just real fast. How do wing pumps work? Why do they work? I'm not even gonna move the camera because explaining it is probably easier than seeing it. in this one case. So wings, when you open your wings, you don't actually lose any speed from opening them, you lose speed from keeping them open. But the important thing about wings is that when you roll with wings, you know that thing that I said before, how any of the thrusters are affecting your air momentum. You don't rotate perfectly. You kind of rotate in a weird orbit sort of circle because of your thrusters slightly manipulating your position. Wings will not do this. Wings will instead just keep you completely straight while you're spinning upside down. This is why both Seeker and Tie-Dye do this. Well, Seeker turns a little bit first to probably make his trajectory as straight as possible to where he's going, but like they're both going to open wings here to go upside down. It's because they're not going to lose any height when doing this. They're not going to use any of their like blue thruster power when doing this, and they're also not going to use they're not going to get like repositioned by their thrusters because they're turning with wings, which keeps them completely straight. Alright, so tie-dye does something absolutely insane. I'm gonna go over real fast. I'm gonna watch you. I'm gonna just watch him. He's not really holding grip. He's rotating through every single thruster to go straight. This is an incredibly hard technique that is, and it's only hard because you gain like I don't know, the smallest amount of time doing this shit. Because the only reason why you gain even a little bit amount of time doing this is because, again, it has to do with the blue thruster power. You lose less of that if you're not holding grip. So instead of holding grip, tie-dye here is rotating between every single thruster, specifically to use as much of that blue thruster energy as possible. Also, he's doing this for two reasons. He's doing it, one, for the reason I just explained, but also because a very long time ago in the early access for this game, you didn't have grip. The only way you could grip fly was, well, by rotating your thrusters like that, and it was broken. You could go really far with it, but it got nerfed and blah blah blah. But tie-dye was one of the people who was doing that, so he still does it to this day. So okay. You might have noticed that during that jump, tie-dye was higher than Seeker was, and because of that, Seeker, like, he landed at a much better angle than tie-dye did. This is one of the few situations where landing a bit more roughly is gonna cost you because of how tight this gosh dang run is. So okay, in a situation like this, tie-dye probably gained a little bit of time, both for being lower than Seeker is right now. He's going to have much less of a rough landing, and also he's gosh dang thruster boosting, so he's going to be a little bit ahead of him, or at least catch up any time lost. Yeah, he caught up, okay. He's not ahead of him, but he caught up a little bit. And Seeker's like at a god level of just finding that perfect angle to use while speedrunning. So he turned a little bit on the inside, but he started going on the outside a little bit. So this is another case of tie-dye using his amazing thruster boosting to probably gain a little bit of speed here. And let's see where he is. Yeah, he caught right up. He's right next to next to Seeker now. So okay, Seeker's using his wings here to keep himself as straight as possible. And to also turn. So another thing that wings are very useful for when doing runs is turning. If you're using grip ain't that strong. Grip is not going to be able to make you turn very fast. But wings can turn as fast as, well, wings do, which is much better than grip. So yeah. But also, you don't really lose any of your momentum just to turn, which if you were grip flying, you would lose your momentum. So Seeker is doing this turn a lot earlier than tie-dye did, so he's probably taking a much shorter route technically. And tie-dye is being careful here, and he kept his wings open just to make sure he didn't mess up. Seeker's being ballsy as fuck right now, and he first opened his wings to make the turn, and now he's back upside down to use grip fly just to get that little bit further. So that optimization that he just did was enough to put him a good amount ahead of tie-dye, because Seeker is amazing at this. But again, tie-dye is a beautiful player, and he's probably going to find enough time through his thruster boosting and crazy playing. So yeah, he's thruster boosting again. He's catching up a little bit to Seeker there. Again, he even thruster boosted on that transfer. So what they both did on that transfer was that thing I was talking about before, by having your nose be slightly up. It was really easy to do it on that like sideways transfer to like a right side up road. But still, they both did it. tie-dye gained time specifically because he's a god at thruster boosting. Like, how do you do that? What is wrong with you? So yeah, his thruster boosting is catching him up right here. Seeker isn't playing bad at all. It's just tie-dye doing something crazy. So now tie-dye is ahead. The only way Seeker could catch up is if he uses a much better line than tie-dye does in this situation. Also, these boosters right here, well, they're boosters. These aren't just cooldowns. They actually boost you forward a little bit. I don't know if they're going to do this, but if you have your wings open in a force zone that pushes you forward, wings make you a slight bit slower, but this is actually a good thing for force zones, because that means you stay in the force zone for that little bit more amount of time, and wings don't really lose momentum when they're open, so it's really good to abuse that with force zones if you can, because you'll be able to move a lot faster. I don't know if they're going to do it though. Yeah, it doesn't look like they do. They're trying to keep straight. Opening wings might mess them up here. Oh, okay. Tie-Dye did another thing just now, which is bonkers that he did it. I'm going to go back a little bit. So, while thruster boosting, he's also going to do a technique called a thruster reset. So if you have your wheels touch a solid object, for any amounts of time, it can be as brief as a frame. As long as it touches a solid object, it's going to reset that blue power on your thrusters. And Tie-Dye is barely even using his blue energy to begin with, because again, he's thruster boosting. He has to angle up a little bit just to even do this, but still, he gets that landing. That landing makes his thrusters blue again. You can kind of see it. You can see that it's blue at full power, and he's going to use that to go even further. I don't know if he does it again. Yeah, it doesn't look like he does it again. That's a really hard maneuver. It's really precise. And he's using wings, so he doesn't really lose any height while doing this. And Seeker, okay, how does Seeker catch up? I want to see. I want to see how Seeker did that. So okay, he gets a thruster reset, and he's already angling himself towards the wall he's trying to go to. So he had to make less of a turn than Tie-Dye did just now, and he's going completely straight. And yeah, he uses a really good angle just to catch up on Tie-Dye, who has to go up a little bit, which is going to make him lose a little bit of speed just to catch up. So now he's going to land down, and yup, he's caught up to Tie-Dye again. And now they're going to opt for two separate strategies. Seeker is going to try to use a tiny bit of grip fly and use that momentum to carry him hopefully a little bit further, while Tie-Dye is going to opt to use some of his downward momentum right into this right into the road, because ground momentum is faster than air momentum. But I have a small little prediction here. So Tie-Dye doesn't really look like he's angling his nose up right now. His nose is angled ever so slightly downward, and this might cost him that tiny bit amount of time. So yeah, he's a little bit behind Seeker right now. If he angled his nose up while doing that, he might have actually kept enough speed to stay ahead of Seeker, but Seeker's probably going to gain a little bit of time through the grip fly, since while grip fly is not faster than ground speed, it is a little bit better than losing some of that ground speed from a not so good landing. So yeah, he landed a little bit ahead, but the landing is also going to make him lose that little bit of speed, so Tie-Dye still catches up a tiny bit amount, because landing in itself makes you lose a tiny amount of speed. And that's the end zone right there, and they're going to finish at the exact same fucking time. It's crazy, right? It's fucking insane. It's wild. The average player is not going to think about any of this shit. I don't think about this shit when I play the game. They probably weren't even thinking about any of what they were doing to go that fast. But you can tell that there's still optimizations to be made there, and it's like it's fucking bonkers the amount of things you can do to just be faster in this game. Even if you're not good, even if you can't do grip fly, there's still tiny things you can do to go faster. I'm trying to get as fast as I can on the ground before I worry about that stuff, but also still trying to learn it. Yeah, there's still a lot. Like, I'm kind of good at doing ground things. I'm not like perfect, but I'm kind of good at it. But I just wanted to discuss that because it's cool. It's cool. Also, hi Marissa. I didn't say hi because I was it's like fangasming over how crazy this game is. Well, there's something cursed. Sure. I hope it's more cursed than my main menu. But also, again, if you want me to like look at a specific replay of yours, I can do that. I only have one more level in my head to really look at for just like a bunch of things you can do. I'll even tell you what that level is. It's my own level, Summer Velocity. But I want to go into it because it's not just because it's my level, but it's because of, again, just the tiny amount of things that you can do to be faster. In the game Space Engineers, collision detection happens per frame, but the rest of the physics does not. Oh! Oh! Also, that's typing very fast, but also, wow. You include falling onto the ground and then. I actually didn't know that. It'd be funny if distance was kind of like that. Well, it's not really like that. It kind of is, sort of, kind of, but not really. It's weird. It's Unity. That's what I'm saying. It's Unity. It's Unity's collision being weird. But yeah, that was a Splatoon song. That was funny. Yeah, that is some cursed programming. Almost as cursed as like setting your speed to the same setting your speed to like work with the frames. So like you move as fast as your like FPS allows you to do. So if you have higher FPS, you run faster. If you have lower FPS, you go slower. Fallout 76 did that, by the way. That was all copy pasted line by line. Nice. All right, so we're gonna look at a lot of different times here. I know Predatory and Fruit do like the most optimal shit on this, but we're also gonna look at like other times that aren't as fast on this. And I'm gonna skip this song because it has words. Because I'm trying to talk here. I'm trying to talk. Loading speed happens on the frame rate. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of easy to fall into that problem where you tie something to the frame rate and you can't really tell that it's a problem until later down the line. Alright, so there's this cool thing with force zones where if you're in the air, I kind of explained this before, but if you're in the air, you actually can shoot yourself further with a force zone. And why does this happen, you might ask? That sounds stupid and dumb. Well, it is a little stupid and dumb, but it's because in the air, you're not as fast as you are on the ground. And the longer you spend, the more time you spend inside of a force zone, no matter how tiny it is, it's gonna add on to your speed, which is a good thing. You probably want the force zone to give you as much speed as possible. So if you're in the air, therefore going slower, you spend more time in a force zone, which therefore makes you faster. Is it kind of stupid and it looks weird? Yeah. But that's why like a lot of people jump on this. That's why Predatory is opening his wings right here. He's trying to be in the force zone for as long as possible to use as much speed from it. But I think ultimately Predatory loses a tiny amount of speed because of how he lands, but point is, jumping actually shoots you forward a little bit. You can see like why everybody is like kind of just jumping through that force zone, because the force zone is high enough so you can hit it while being airborne, and you can abuse that to go that tiny bit amount faster. But okay, actually, I just realized why Predatory opened his wings like that. He's landing perfectly on the ground, so when he lands, he doesn't lose any speed. Everybody else, when they land back down, they lose speed from that landing, and now they're behind Predatory. Gosh dang, dude, what the fuck? So is he gonna jump again here? He does not. It's kind of hard to jump on this one because you're gonna go into that really bad landing, because you're gonna get flung right into this road, and you probably don't want that. I don't know if anybody even uses it. It kind of looks like somebody tried to go for it. Yeah. Whoever that is right there. Frood. Not Frood. Who is it? Oh, it's Nikachu. Yeah, Nikachu went for it and actually used it well. Sorta. Yeah, he didn't really lose that much speed for doing it. Alright, so another thing about force zones, this is like near impossible to know. Not really know, but this is near impossible to do consistently. But if you enter a force zone as close as possible to the direction that is pushing you in, like not land, but if you drive into it at a direction that is like very, very close to the same direction the force zone is going, it's actually going to send you even further than it would normally. And I don't know the math behind why that really works, because I feel like if you're going completely straight through a force zone, you're going to spend less time within it to be pushed forward. But I guess the ground speed that you have gets... I don't know. It works, okay? That's the thing that you can do to be a little bit faster if you're going through a force zone, but again, you have to get the angle pretty much perfect, and like, how are you supposed to know the angle? There's nothing telling you the exact angle with the force zone. Alright, also another thing to just point out right here, if you're driving in the center of this road, you would actually, like through the center right here, you would actually spend less time traveling forward than if you were on the side that everyone else was on. We only end up on that side because we're being flung by the force zone, but just point is, you would actually gain a little bit of speed doing that. That's what I'm doing right now. That's why I'm ahead. That's me right there. That's me. I'm very epic, and I'm gonna lose to Fruit. So no one jumps through this force zone here because this force zone leads into a jump, and you kind of want to stay on the ground. And no one angles up because, fun little fact, if you have a lot of speed, using your thrusters can actually like super mess that up. Again, I'm not sure why this happens, but if you go through a force zone and you only have your wings open, your wings keep your air momentum, so you don't really lose any speed because wings are good at keeping your air momentum up. But your thrusters, for whatever reason, can actually cut your air momentum a little bit. And if you're going through like a force zone and you have a bunch of extra speed, sometimes you just don't want to touch anything for a little while. There's a guy angling up. Who's angling up? Oh, yeah, I can see them. Alright. Yeah, I just saw that person angling up. So somebody jumps through it, and now they got launched forward a little bit. Alright, so there was something that I didn't know about. So my original like shortcut idea for this is that you stay upside down and you go on the other side and cut the loop. But Predatory found out, if I get over to Predatory actually found out that using the extra speed from the loop, because you go through a lot of force zones when you're on the loop, so the loop doesn't last that long. But if you go through all the force zones, which he like perfectly lands on the road with the wings to lose like not a lot of speed, and he's going through all the force zones, that gives him enough speed for him to catch up. And the reason why he like jumps instead of taking the ramp, he jumps over it and uses his wings because he has a lot of ground momentum, and then he jumps, which is going to cut his momentum a little bit, but he opens wings, which is going to keep his air momentum now. He's going to roll upside down and then grip, I think. Yeah, okay, that's what he's doing. I was right. And he has so much extra speed from the 3 force zones from before that he's actually going to catch up to everybody here. This is all crazy force zone logic. Like, he even opens wings for a split second to land better. This is just force zone logic shit that you can do. It's hard to do this, but like, you can. And yep, he's going to jump, use wings to get that force zone and cut straight through this section. That's like the most optimal way to do this. And yeah, from here on out, it's just carefully hitting force zones and trying to play as straight as possible. Again, the more you turn while you're driving, you actually cut your speed a little bit, so it's best to find as straight of a line as possible. And also, Predatory is using thrusters to, again, turn more tightly because that works. if you use a thruster that's going in the same direction of like your turn, you're gonna turn better. This also works if you're holding grip. You'll also turn better. In fact, I think holding grip makes you turn even tighter, but you're also gonna lose more speed doing that. So you only really want to do that if like you have no choice. It's better to just use one thruster. And yep, he's gonna jump through that, use his wings to get as much speed as possible, get a perfect landing, and that's like a god tier run on summer velocity. Predatory pretty much does everything right on this run. I don't know if anybody could really pass him on this. But let's see why like other people might be doing on this. It's lagging a little bit. Jesus, Semtex flying around that turn. So yeah, backgrounds misses that boost, gets past because of that. Like just a bunch of little things that you can do in summer velocity to get a fast time, but I'm not really gonna focus on it. I just wanted to point that out. That like there's even stuff you can do at force zones just to go that little bit extra faster than you normally would. Summer velocity is just a really good example of that. I have made it my goal to top Predatory on Artex Garo. I don't know how good Predatory's run is on Artex. I haven't run at Artex in a while. I don't know, I could take a look at it. It's pretty optimized. Well, that's scary. That's scary to think. Oh yeah, Div. Div is like just absolutely ridiculous. All right, this is a really hard level. You know, I could also have Div's replay exist here. All right, I don't want to race him because I'm not gonna beat him. I'm 17th in this. I thought I had to be lower. Alright, Pred has a really good angle in the grip fly there. Yeah, they're like neck and neck, Jesus. Div is going a little lower. Nope, he actually starts going higher than Predatory at the last second. So Predatory is going to land first? No, Predatory actually messed up a little bit and is behind Div. Tried to optimize a little too hard. So okay, Predatory does mess up. Like right there. So where does Div mess up? He's doing this really well. He's like trying to stay close to the road and land on it. So that's good. He's doing good there. He's getting in a twist to get as much cooldown as possible. Okay, he slows down a bit there. Which I want to see what Predatory did. Okay, so Predatory slows down like Div did. In fact, I think Div kept a better angle to get into this section. So Div has to mess up somewhere. Oh, he slows down real hard right there. I usually come up from the top on that one. Means you don't have to stop. That's actually a pretty good idea. Although that might give you a lot of downward momentum. I mean, you can correct that very quickly, but I guess that's just something to be careful of. So yeah, Predatory doesn't slow down too much like Div did. Still slows down to get those twists in, which they're landing twist only because that gives them more cooldown. Alright, Predatory has been closing in a little bit on Div so far. Oh, misses their roll right there. That's a shame. That is a shame. Yeah, so they had to correct, Predatory had to correct that a little bit. Alright, getting in some twist. So Div turned to the side. He must have landed really awkwardly with his twist and turned to the side. I wonder if that was intentional or not. Actually, what's the next road? It might have been intentional. Okay, so that was probably intentional, because if he's on the outside, that means when he's flying straight up to right here, he wouldn't have to, he would have to go like more straight than like go to the outside. So yeah, he's going to be traveling like basically straight up right now. So this is really good angle for Div. Okay, and he lands on it. And then I think he's gonna head over to the next road now. Yeah, he is. He's gonna go straight for it. Alright, this is using as much boost as possible. Okay, so Predatory, it catches up a lot right there. I wonder why. I mean, he still has some time to catch up on, but he gets this twist. A little awkward of a landing, but doing fine. Okay, so I think Div's angle is going too much up, so he actually loses like a little bit of speed. So yeah, so now Predatory is caught up quite a bit from before. Lands that very well, has a very good angle downward. It's better than Div's, so he's gonna catch up to Div. Div is opting for a twist, and he probably didn't need to twist. Yeah, he didn't need to twist, so he lost speed, getting a twist for more cooldown. Predatory's gonna head straight up now. Is rolling, not twisting. Probably because you could do a wall ride on here. Yeah, you can. Lands again, gonna get another wall ride. And I think you skipped this first one. Yeah, you do. Does a roll, carefully lands on that, and gets a good cooldown. That's like wall ride plus barrel roll, which is good. And that gives you enough boost to get right there. Alright. So Predatory angled down a little bit because a few pointers of what you're doing wrong. Sure, I'll do what I can. I'll look at your time. But yeah, Predatory angles down a little bit right there because if he was angling up, his thrusters would be pointed a little bit away. Okay, well, first thing, his thrusters would be pointing a little bit away from the road, but also he would have to fight gravity. And sometimes you don't want to fight gravity, which is why Predatory quickly angled his nose a little downward towards the road, because he was using gravity to get himself to land as quickly as possible on the road. It's the little things. It's the little things. Alright, he's gonna just quickly land on this. Yep. Nothing really too fancy to talk about there. This is just clean movement. Okay, so Predatory is skipping a road, does a twist. The twist is to get more cooldown. And yep, gives him just enough cooldown to land right here. And does a little roll, which should give him just enough to make this, yep. What does he do here? Okay, he doesn't do a thruster reset. I was wondering if he would do that, because that would give you so much upwards momentum. It would reset your blue flames. He's gonna land right here, so that's gonna reset his blue flames, which will give him a good amount of upwards momentum. You want the blue flames if you're going up. That is mega important. Only needs a single roll to land right here, and there's no kill grids under that road, so okay. Yeah, this is a pretty good time. Predatory does not mess up that much. And he only passes Div because, like, Div did some, like, I mean, he was playing fine. He was playing perfectly good. He just had some optimizations that he could have made, and Predatory made those optimizations. It is possible to beat Predatory, but, like, damn. That's a toughie. Alright, so Wolf is right there. Yeah, you can still be beaten. It's not a perfect run. It's not like his Summer Velocity run where that's like tight as hell. Yeah, it's definitely harder to micro-optimize on a on a level like that, so you're doing perfectly fine there. Actually, you know what I should do? I should put you right next to Predatory. I like this song, but it has words. Yeah, I'm gonna. This might be my last thing I talk about. Also because I'm running out of water. Alright. The Predatory is probably gonna like pass you a little early. But I'm gonna see if there's any like tiny to talk about. But like while having Predatory's Ghost exist. Alright, I guess he starts a little faster than you. There's that. So, very tiny thing. This barely even matters because if you're playing the rest of the run cleanly, this wouldn't matter at all. But you grip a little bit while rolling, which means that you spend a bit more time in the air, which makes you lose like 0.01 seconds at a time. It barely matters in a map like this because like most of the optimizations come from not dying. But yeah, just gonna mention it because I feel like it. You could have angled down a little bit more there, but yeah, it's like that barely matters. You land that roll good. Okay, so I noticed that because of how you were angled, I guess you're ending the stream after this. Now I'm gonna play for a little bit. I might be ending a little bit earlier because my voice is dying, but I'm still gonna play for a little bit. But yeah, so your angle right there was a little bit not straight. So you went to the outside a little bit, which cuts your forward momentum a little bit. Again, this is a tiny thing, but also you go way higher than Predatory does in this instance. Predatory does go too low, but still, it's just something to note. You might have been able to get a little bit of a better angle, so you wouldn't be doing that for as long. Honestly, that first really long jump in Artex is like some of the most amount of time you can save on this level, because that jump is important. If you can get a really good angle there, then like you could probably save a lot of time. Like I bet if Seeker was playing that, he would have found like the perfect ass angle. Alright, so dying there definitely lost some time. But like, I mean that's obvious, I don't really have to point that out. Alright, you land that really well. You might have been able to recover some of your... Actually no, that was actually fine. I think you went up a little bit too much. If you were closer to the road right here, that would have been better. Yeah, you also had to like stop boosting for a little bit just to make sure you don't die. Alright, would have been best if you didn't slow down it right there, I think. I forget what Predatory does. What does Predatory do? Yeah, Predatory doesn't even jump right there. I don't even know if that's optimal or not, but I don't think it is. Probably would have been better if Predatory jumped. I'm mainly asking about the deaths themselves. Oh, okay. Oh, you do have to stop boosting a little bit, but yeah, he keeps going like immediately. Alright, so the deaths themselves, you knew about this one already, that you went a little too low and that's why you died. So let's move on. I'm gonna only like focus on explaining shit if you die. I'm gonna say a few things as we go along. So yeah, you do slow down a lot right here in order to land, which is like that's fine. You don't die. All right, you do die right there. Which I mean, I think you knew why you died there. You messed up your angle, and you didn't fully roll, and it made you. Then you pushed yourself to the side with the blue grip. And that's why you like ended up dying there, but yeah, I'm sure you knew that. You were panicking? Oh, okay. Well, yeah, panicking will definitely do you in. You did reset quickly though, so that's good. Alright, so you land right here. I don't know if that's faster or not, and the only reason why I'm saying that is because you have to go up so much. Like, if you come in from the side, that might actually be faster, mostly because you don't have to fight gravity for as long. I might be wrong. You might be right about this being faster. There isn't really an example of somebody doing this. So if you, like, landed a twist and then kept going full boost, maybe you would have saved some time? I don't know. It's hard to tell. So yeah, you do that pretty well. You're making sure you have enough boost. A twist would have gave you enough boost, but again, twists are hard. You're still learning. Multi-personality disorder sometimes leads to one of the others mentioning something that caused me to just mentally fall. Ah. Okay. I think I understand. I mean, I don't have multi-personality disorder, so I can't fully understand. But like, that makes. I get what you're saying. I think you might be able to land wall rides on here. So yeah. So you're landing wall rides. And yeah, that's good. That's good. Probably went up a little too much, but that's whatever. Alright. I think you could have saved all of your boosts with a twist, but yeah, you get there just fine. Okay, so you're going a little bit away from the road right now. Just based on your movements. I don't know how. Yeah, you're very far away. Can you still make it? Okay, you might have been able to make that. And it's a bit of an awkward maneuver. Like, you might have been able to save yourself in that situation. So you started like pushing back because you probably noticed that you're going a little too far away from the road. Again, it's hard to tell because there's like nothing else to look at. But so now you're gripping towards it, right? So one of the best things to do would be to, you have a good angle, but you're gonna run out of boost at this point, and you're not gonna have enough boost. So to save yourself here, you would have to take the butt of your car and rotate it like that, so your thrusters are still pushing towards the direction you need to go. But you would also be not be falling as quickly because your thrusters are going against gravity. Which is why you end up not saving yourself here, because your thrusters are going with gravity right now. Again, it's complicated because that's difficult, but just something to mention how you could have saved yourself right there. You save yourself right here though, so that's good. This is a good recovery. You would have lost way more time if you resetted. Yeah, it was the camera being camera, but you have to it's difficult to get this inside of your head, but you have to get a feel for how fast your car moves in distance and like how far it actually goes when doing it. This only comes with a lot of experience. There's no real way to be able to tell people like, hey, just ignore that the camera is pointing away from where you need to go. That's incredibly difficult to do. But like the more you play the game, the more you'll get used to that. Because like you might have noticed like, hold on, you might have noticed like while you were going up here, right? I can immediately tell like from right here, I can already tell that you were going too far away from that road that you needed to go to. And I wasn't even looking, like I couldn't see the road, I didn't know where it was, but I knew immediately that you were going a little bit too far away. And I only know this through experience. This isn't like, I don't know, magical awareness that I have. It's just something that you end up getting used to. Sorry, yeah, you make it up here just fine. Alright, yeah, you actually put yourself at a really good angle. Okay, yeah, you probably know why that happened. When moving really quickly and you brake, sometimes the car will just turn. But like that, you know that. So I guess we built sand. Okay, so actually I wasn't really paying attention right there, so let me go back a little bit. Okay, so this was a bit more of like a camera thing. You can definitely call this a camera thing. I could tell that you didn't realize that you were actually going into the cap of the road instead of, well, on top of the road. This is just another case of like just being a bit more experienced at knowing where the car is even before the camera turns to where it needs to go. Alright, I just want to check one more thing. Yeah, okay, so also on that jump, you move forward a little bit, which That's gonna make the camera point forward first before really going upward, which is why it takes a bit longer to go up. It might have been better if you jumped closer to the end of the road so you could not end up in this situation, but like, there's multiple different approaches to fix that. So let's just see what your next approach is. Or you went too low there, but yeah, that's obvious. Not really going to go into why, you know. Sorry for making you watch me fail again. No, this is exactly what I want. Watching people who play the game perfectly is like, yeah, you can talk about every single way that they like do good, but like seeing like this just showcases how fucking like deep this game goes with this mechanics. Like even when playing a level like this where you could just not die the entire time and that's how you go fast, but like it's difficult to do this type of thing. So yeah, wait, actually, I wasn't paying attention to where you jumped off of. Okay, yeah, so you could have jumped like way closer to the end of the road there, because that can avoid you needing to go forward a little bit just to land on this road. But you actually land on this very well. Like that's like a really good landing actually. So you fixed the angle and you worked with it. Alright, so you did that really well. Landing with a roll would have avoided that, but that's micro optimizations, who cares? Yeah, you're landing on these roads real well. Okay, so there's a really way to explain like how to do that any better. It's just that you overshot it, and that's unfortunate. Like that's very much a precision jump more than anything. So all you have to do is get a feel for that preciseness, which comes with time and experience and whatever. So you didn't really do anything wrong there outside of overshooting that jump. Yeah, it's really easy to overshoot that jump because like look at that angle. You have to land like with that road and it's like you can miss that so easily. So yeah, you definitely like get on top of it there. But skipping that road is like it's possible if you roll onto it or you still have wall ride. Which is probably why you go back here, yeah. Probably wanted to get your wall ride. Alright, so you didn't get the wall ride again, but that's fine. You're gonna wait, get some wall ride right here. Yup. And you got your cooldown back. Or got your boost back, rather. And you're able to skip that one because you have enough boost for it. Alright, so you kept your angle, so you could float back to it, that's good. So even though you overshot it, you were able to fix yourself in that situation. Alright, so I do this kind of shit a lot, where I'm going into a jump and then I'm like, wait a second, I did this wrong. So that's relatable, that's a very relatable moment. You didn't really do anything wrong there, you just realized that you messed up and you recovered. Alright, yep, you resetted so you can turn faster, or, well, so you could be at a good angle more quickly. Makes sense. You do this completely fine. You're just saving your boost. Yup. You get your boost, and then you're going. Okay, so yeah, that was probably another situation where you were like, I'm using the camera to be able to tell where I'm going, but the camera when going up is not the best thing to use. So yeah, that was just, if you were able to tell how far you actually were despite where the camera was, you would have been able to avoid that, but again, that just comes with experience. Also, hi Cervix. Alright, so you overshot that. This is a very easy thing to overshoot. This road is tiny as fuck. It's a very, very, very tiny road. Yeah, there's just another overshoot situation. Slightly overshoot. I think you're going to be able to recover this one. Yep, there you go. And speed it up a tad. Got your wall ride. There you go. Alright, so yeah, now you know you're far enough on this one. Yeah, there you go. And yeah, this is a very simple jump. Okay, so you keep going, and that's good. That's a good thing. And you don't land on the checkpoint for the optimization thing, but that's fine. Oh, okay, so that's just another one of those situations where you lost to where you were, and that's the only reason why you ended up messing that up. And yeah, this checkpoint sucks. This checkpoint sucks so much. I can feel your pain right now. Like, once you miss that jump, this checkpoint sucks. Because you have to do something like this just to get up there. Yeah, now you're able to get up there. It's just the pain of, like, respawning on that checkpoint. That checkpoint sucks to respawn on. Alright, so that was a goof. That was just a goof moment, hitting the side of the road. Big oof. What pain? Okay. And then you'll be able to make this, I think. That doesn't really require that much boost. Yeah, you're fine. Alright. You did better than I did. I have a worse time than that. Show you my 43-minute run? Well, then we'd be here for a very long time. And I'm running low on water. Actually, I just ran out of water. Alright, I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna do something real fast. And by real fast, I mean, so you remember that first track that I went super deep on? Wait for me to go orange squash. Well, I'm just gonna do. I'm not gonna open like a server or anything right now because I'm gonna be doing this. I'm going to be applying my all of like my micro optimization stuff that I was talking about on relax right now. Will I be able to pass everybody else? I don't know. I'm not perfect at this game. I could easily mess it up. But I'm going to apply everything I talked about to like keep up or pass Beefro, Connected Link, Predatory Balloon, Latavi Overlord. Like, I'm going to be racing them in particular with all of the micro optimizations that I discussed. It's going to be absolutely nuts and wild. Will I beat him? I don't know. I have to like not screw up. But I'm doing this because what I'm talking about is not a joke. And by not a joke, I mean like it actually works. I haven't played this game for like a week though, so... Yeah, I'm already ahead from that opening. I messed up a little bit on that jump. That was a good transfer. That was a clean transfer. I'm already ahead right now. So I didn't even jump on that one because I noticed that I had enough time to do that. I went up a little bit, so I lost some time. There we go. Quick transfer. Gonna grip fly on this. Bam. Yeah, I'm pretty much ahead right now. Mess up right there. And I'm not gonna catch up. If you saw how ahead I was by just applying my micro optimizations. I'm not going to catch up now. I lost way too much time, so let's give that a restart. Yeah, turning immediately on the inside of this is good, but I hit the pillar, so I messed up. But yeah, that quick transfer put me ahead of Predatory. Alright, I messed up that transfer, so I lost a little bit of time. I'm gonna go on the inside of this. Alright, so staying on the inside of that might actually be a bad idea, and I'm only saying that because I have to travel upwards on the jump, and that's not good. Alright, that was good. Alright, doing great. So I'm gonna try staying a bit more on the outside this time and getting a bit more height. Okay, yeah, that's much better. That's much faster. Okay, so I did something really tiny there. So I got to the very end of that jump, and as my car was slightly off of the road, I jumped, but because I was slightly off of the road by that point, I actually got angled in a good way for that roll. I'll show you. I'll show you that in like a replay discussion. Oh my god, had to do a quick little recovery there. I did obviously lost time for that, but I'm too far ahead for anyone to catch up, and we're good. Optimizations, people, it's crazy. But all right, I wanna go into that like one little thing that I did because it's so specific. Get out of here, Japanese. I know I do it on the second lap. Okay, so here's how it happens, okay? This is a really tiny ass optimization that sometimes might even kill you in some situations, but in a situation like this it's really good. And also I'm abusing keyboard controls in a situation like this. So I'm gonna be slightly off of this road, and now my car is gonna be angled a little bit downward. But because of this game being hilarious, my car is still on enough ground for a jump to still be okay. So, okay, that is a super late jump that probably happens because of, that probably happened because I sped up the thing and now I slowed it down a whole bunch. Act like the jump happened like a few frames earlier. But yeah, like, you know how my car is like slightly angled downward because it fell off the road a little bit before I did that jump? So now, because I am a keyboard user and I can specifically open one thruster, I can perfectly take that angle and rotate upside down with it, and it's gonna instantly put me at a good angle for grip fly without even pressing anything else. And now I'm already angled down a little bit, and the only thing I have to do is point it down its head, but I don't do that. I just want to point out that that's a thing that you can do, but you can only do it with caps like that. It's a very, 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 very tiny optimization, and if you have a controller, that's going to be much harder to do, and that only saves like what, 0.000000001 seconds. I do it again on that jump. Yeah, I remember reading that he thought that was bad. All right, I want to talk about why I fucked up there. I want to talk about it. So, okay. I was kind of low coming in on this, but there's a thing that I do that actually messes me up here. So I opt to rotate counterclockwise. Now the problem with this is because my thruster is now going to be pushing me very slightly downward as I roll. So I'm going to be falling faster than I would if I rotated in the other direction, because that would mean that the thruster is going to push me up a little bit. Because I rotated that way, I actually pushed my car too far downward, and now I try to fix this. I over rotate and try to grip upward. I'm genuinely trying to fix this, but the damage was already done, and now I hit the side of this road, and now I have to deal with being on the side of it, and I quickly fix it by jumping, and then jumping again. But yeah, I was able to stay ahead of the pack due to just micro optimizations. I mean, obviously, like, Predatory messed up once on his run. If he didn't hit the pillar or whatever, he probably would have a time like mine. In all honesty. But yeah, just wanted to do that to just showcase that like micro optimizations work. They're real and it's crazy. You can't get this in any other racing game. It doesn't exist. It's not real. I mean, yes, other racing games have crazy micro optimizations that you can make, but it's not to the level that Distance is. Like, Trackmania people think that their game is like the most precise thing ever, and they're right. They're not wrong. That game is precise as fuck, but Distance is bonkers because there's so many more variables to this game.